is the members are the power at the bargaining table. Yes, the officers are experienced and know the contract and deal with UPS every day, but the muscle in the arm is the members.
The facts, dates, and events presented in this video are from the members' best recollection and may not be fully accurate. This video is intended for entertainment purposes only. Always consult with your local union about your rights and duties at your workplace. The opinions shared on this video are our own and do not necessarily represent my employer's positions, strategies, or opinions. All views shared are protected under the National Labor Relations Act.
What is going on, everybody? So today I have the mother trucker herself, Diana Kilmury, in the Roswell Hub. So for those who do not know who Diana is, man, there's a laundry list of things Diana has done for the Teamsters. So Diana actually was the vice president to Ron Carey back in '97 during the '97 strike. She has a whole laundry list of other accomplishments, but I will get into that later. But honestly, I really do appreciate you coming on the Roswell Hub to help out the members out there right now, because a lot of people are nervous right now of this potential strike. And so I guess my first question to you is, back in '97, did you ever think, as the weeks were coming on, you know, we're like 3 weeks away right now, 2 weeks away from the deadline, did you ever think in '97 that Ron would have an agreement with UPS before the deadline hit?
No, you know, insofar as I knew, you know, the inner workings of the negotiations, but I can tell you, UPS just thought they were going to crush Kerry.
So getting into that, you know, there was a successful strike in '97 that lasted 15 days. You guys had a whole laundry list of issues that you had hurdles you had to jump over in order to have this strike. I mean, you want to like kind of explain some of the hurdles that you ran into during '97?
Well, you know, not to get into the weeds, but you know, prior to the '91 election, the old guard just lied their faces off. I mean, when we got in there, you know, the International was going broke at a frightening rate. Like at the '91 International Convention, they raised the strike pay to $200 a week, but without any means to pay for it. So it was just a matter of time until a big enough strike came along with enough members, and it went on for long enough, and you just bankrupt the IBT. That's all there was to it, simple mathematics. So when we got in there, we froze the affiliates pension plan that earned Kerry the undying enmity of every officer in the IBT, and I can understand that. We nuked the family plan, which is like this fifth plan. Like the people that we just defeated went out the door with 1.7 million, 2.2 million, whatever. I mean, it's not enough that they had their industry pension plan, their local union pension plan, their conference pension plan, the affiliates pension plan. If you got to the GEB, you had the family plan. Obscene. So we got rid of the limousines, we got rid of the planes, which were 12 million a year. The affiliates plan was 16 million a year. God knows what the family plan cost. Don't remember. But I mean, Kerry was even talking about taking out every third, you know, fluorescent light out of the ceiling to save energy costs. It was that bad. You can imagine. I mean, at the time, if I remember correctly, UPS was like 185,000 members at $200 a week. But, you know, when we knew, again, simple mathematics, the first week obliterates the strike fund. And then what do? And if it hadn't been for, you know, Eddie Burke, who was an assistant to Ron Carey from the mine workers, and Richard Trumpkin over there at the mine workers, and the AFL-CIO, that lent us the money, I'm not sure we, you know, Kerry obviously had that all in place before he pulled the pin, but holy mackerel. Scary.
So we have all these members right now that are worried about the Teamsters falling apart and this, that, and the other. But you guys, like back in '97, had a lot more hurdles, and it was a lot more dicey and scary than it is today. You didn't have the $330 million strike fund that we have today.
Right, exactly. I mean, all the years of the corruption and wretched excess, and then Hoffa and Co. conspired when and Kerry called a special convention to raise the dues to just to fund the strike fund, and they turned that down. I will never forgive them for that as long as I live. That told me everything that I ever needed to know about them, as if I didn't know it already. But you do that to the union, really? I just beyond disgusting.
Let's get into when the strike happened. Actually, I want to know the night that you found out that we're going to go hit the streets back in '97. Bring us back to that time.
Okay, well, I'm in the Washington Court Hotel, which is right next to the Palace, Teamsters headquarters. And I'm literally sitting on the edge of my bed, rocking back and forth, because I'm terrified that we're going to bankrupt the entire IBT. And it won't just be 185,000 UPS members, it'll be every frigging member of the IBT, and leave them defenseless. And I thought, oh my God, Kerry, I hope you know what you're doing. But, such was my faith in Ron Kerry. And I mean, Local 804, the pros of taking UPS on. I just thought, okay, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. But I was terrified, just terrified. Didn't know what would happen.
Let's move forward a little bit. The following weeks in this '97 strike, how was it for you?
Well, and I've never worked for UPS, and I'm a Canadian on top of it. But I was running up and down the I-5, which is a major highway, north-south, goes from the U.S.-Canada border to California, well, to Mexico, I guess. But anyway, anyways, I'm visiting hub after hub. And, all these young part-timers, confused, don't know which way is up, couldn't tell you who their business agent was, barely knew which union they belonged to. And here's this mad woman from Canada, and I get them all lined up, and I said, okay, now we're gonna chant at the building, Teamster power, Teamster power. And they're looking at me like, who is this person? But they were so mad, so frustrated at their mistreatment, their low pay, and well, you work at UPS, I don't need to tell you what it's like in there. And they got into it as only young people can. And then they were just smiling and laughing and punching each other in the shoulder, and just having a roaring good old time. Some of the best days I spent as a VP, I can tell you.
And so I guess, at the end of the story, you were on the 15th day. Did you know that the strike was going to end?
I don't have a firm recollection of that. I mean, I was, all the time I was VP, I was also co-chair of TDU. So, I got far more information from TDU, what was going on in different parts of the country than the IBT. Not because they wouldn't tell you, but just because TDU is plugged into the rank and file. So I said, Ken Paff was organized, and I said, Ken, so, going pretty good out here on the left coast. How's it going? And so he gave me chapter and verse on which officers were doing everything but actually scabbing on the strike. But that the same phenomenon that I had noticed is that if you came out and engaged with them, they got into it. They were that pissed at UPS. I think that's probably more true now. I mean, what the hell? I've never worked at UPS. I know about as much as about UPS as you can divine from reading, thousands of comments. But people are pretty ticked off at that company, I just got to say.
Absolutely. I've been there for 24 years, and I think I've seen a number of people. For those who don't know, Diana came from the movies and construction, correct?
Yeah, I was a heavy construction road building pipeline driver until construction went to hell in the 80s, and got a call from the hall one day, you want to go work in the movies? And I said, the movies? What do we do there? And he said, same thing you do everywhere, stupid. Take something from point A to point B. So I said, okay, I'm in.
So Diana, thank you so much for coming on. For anybody who wants to listen, I'm going to talk about the movie that was made about you. That's going to be linked down below. It's on TDU's YouTube page as well. It's called Mother Trucker. Very fascinating story. You have done so much for the members. I can't even believe it. There was one other question I wanted to ask you. How did you stop the government from taking over our union?
Well, that actually was one of the biggest disputes we ever had in TDU. Like TDU is run by a member elected steering committee. So, of course, March of 88, I think it was, there's Rudolph Giuliani saying, today we filed a racketeering suit against the Teamsters union. And holy mackerel. Now, again, I'm a Canadian, and do I want a foreign government running my union? I don't think so. So I'm not having any of this no matter what happens. But, lots of people were afraid that we'd get trapped off as being, some kind of spies for the government or something. And, please excuse the language, but I just said, listen, we can reach into this bag of shit and get the right to vote, and we'll vote these assholes out of office. And Ken phones me up. I'm on the movie set. And he says, how soon can you get to New York? And I said, New York? Oh, well, okay, I'll get on a flight tonight. So anyways, there's Pat and I, and we're going through these hallways of the Southern District of New York. Very scary places, cameras, and just like you think it looks like. So anyways, we don't end up meeting with Giuliani, but we're with his henchman Randy Mastro and a bunch of other people in his office. And I said, look, you've got all manner of laws to put these people in jail. Who's going to negotiate the master freight agreement? You? I said, some of these people may be corrupt, but they do something. The government's going to run my union, not over my Canadian body. Let me tell you. So, I'm thinking Ken is just going to punch me out in the parking lot for being so mouthy. But we essentially made our case that if you give the members the right to vote in a supervised election, we, TDU, on behalf of the then 1.5 million members, will vote these people out of office. And it, up against the millionaires, the mob, the government and everything else. But, mighty TDU strikes again. We had networks in UPS, freight, car haul, you name it. Turned our people out and voted them out.
I love it. So we have a huge, as Teamsters, I am so in debt for you for doing that, because who knows what the Teamsters would be like today if the government was running it. So if you haven't done so, I'm going to tell everybody out there that is a proud Teamster to join Teamsters International on Facebook. Diana Kilmury runs it. And listen, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for us. And so, we do shout outs on this channel. Who do you want to shout out tonight?
I can't help, but I know he gets his share of acclaim, but I just got a shout out to Sean O'Brien. I've been retired since 2011. So, you know, O'Brien comes along and, you know, but they all sound the same. It's a matter of whether or not somebody will really doing it. I can tell you on July the 19th will be my 49th anniversary of becoming a Teamster. And I have never seen the like, not even with Ron Carey, who I adore to this day. Does this man ever sleep? He's relentless. He's like the Energizer Bunny. Just, I mean, where hasn't he been? You know, morning, noon, and night, whatever you call those shifts over at UPS, twilight or, you know, midnight sort or whatever the hell it is. He's there. Amazing.
Absolutely. Well, Diana, I can't thank you enough. I hope to see you again. I'll definitely be talking to you. So I appreciate everything you've done.
Hang in there, troops. You're gonna make it.
Oh, I love
You got
it.
the best people in charge. It's all up to you. Just hang tough. Don't listen to rumors, and you'll win.